Sis, I heard the news. You're finally marrying Nathan? Yes, but it's strange for you to suddenly contact me. You've never shown any interest in our lives before. That's because Nathan works at Harvard. Nathan isn't highly educated or anything. He just graduated from a regular state college. He happens to work at Harvard now, that's all. It's fine. If he's working at Harvard now, there's no problem. Harvard is a place for only the chosen ones. Only a handful of highly educated people can work there, so Nathan must be thousands of times smarter than your average educated man. That's a quite unique calculation. Even Harvard students might not understand it. So just give him to me. I absolutely want to marry Nathan. Don't be ridiculous. I can't deal with this nonsense anymore. I'm going back to work. Try to calm down a bit. I'm serious. If you won't give him up, I'll take him by force. Sarah, you're not making any sense. Nathan and I are engaged. We're in love. And happy together. You can't just decide that you want him and expect me to hand him over to you. But you don't understand. This is my chance to marry someone from Harvard. Don't you know how prestigious that is? I really don't think you're grasping the situation here. Nathan isn't from Harvard in the way you're thinking. He just works there. Same thing. He must be brilliant to work at such an esteemed institution. Sarah, please listen to yourself. You're talking about breaking up an engaged couple because of some misguided notion about prestige. This isn't like you. Oh, this is exactly like me. You know I've always wanted to marry someone highly educated. This is my chance. But you don't even know Nathan. You've never met him. How can you say you want to marry him? I don't need to know him. I know he works at Harvard, and that's enough for me. That's just not how relationships work, Sarah. You can't just marry someone judging by where he works. Watch me. I'm going to win Nathan over. Just you wait and see. Sarah, this conversation is over. I'm not going to put up with this ridiculous idea any longer. Fine, be that way, but don't say I didn't warn you.
I'm sorry, Emily. We need to cancel tomorrow's wedding. We need to break up right now.
Stop saying weird jokes on the day before our wedding.
I'm not joking. I'm serious. I'm calling off our wedding. I'm going to marry Sarah. No, I have to marry her. I got Sarah pregnant.
What? You mean Sarah, my sister? So you two were having an affair behind my back. You've been betraying me all this time?
Emily, you're always so serious and perfect. You never oversleep for work, and your housework is just flawless. Being with such a perfect person feels suffocating.
So that's why you had an affair with Sarah?
People are emotional creatures. Sarah understood that about me. Her imperfections and sloppiness are charming.
Being perfect at work and housework should be praised, not criticized. Moreover, that's no reason to justify an affair or to get my sister pregnant.
I know it sounds crazy, Emily. I didn't plan for any of this to happen.
How long has this been going on, Nathan? How long have you been seeing my sister behind my back?
It's only been a few weeks. Sarah reached out to me about a month ago.
A few weeks? And in that time you managed to not only have an affair, but get her pregnant? Do you have any idea how much this hurts me?
I'm so sorry, Emily. I never meant to hurt you. It just happened.
Things like this don't just happen, Nathan. You made choices, repeated choices to betray me.
You're right. I know I've made terrible mistakes. I felt so constrained in our relationship. Sarah made me feel free.
Free? Free to what? Cheat on your fiancé? Get another woman pregnant? Is that the kind of freedom you wanted?
No, of course not. I don't know how to explain it.
Try to explain. Because right now I'm having a hard time understanding how the man I thought I knew could do something like this.
Emily, you're amazing. You're smart, beautiful, and successful. But sometimes it feels like I was living in your shadow. Like I could never measure up to you.
So instead of talking to me about your feelings, you decided to sleep with my sister? How can that be a solution?
It wasn't a solution. It was a mistake. A huge, terrible mistake.
A mistake you're now choosing to continue by marrying her.
I have to take responsibility for my actions, Emily. Sarah's pregnant with my child.
And what about your responsibility to me, to our relationship, to the promises we made to each other?
I know I've broken those promises. I'll never forgive myself for hurting you like this.
Yet here you are telling me you're leaving me for my sister. Actions speak louder than words, Nathan.
I don't blame you if you hate me, Emily. I hate myself right now.
I don't hate you, Nathan. I'm disappointed and hurt and angry. So angry.
I deserve that. All of it.
Yes, you do. But that doesn't make the situation any better. What are you going to do now? Marry Sarah and live happily ever after?
I don't know. I know I have to take responsibility for the baby. But beyond that, I'm lost.
Well, you better figure it out quickly because you've just turned 3 lives upside down with your actions.
I know. So sorry, Emily. I wish I could take it all back.
But you can't. What's done is done, and now we all have to live with the consequences. Sis, you said Nathan works at the university, right? The only job at a university must be a professor, right? No, there are plenty of other jobs, like administrative staff or janitors. In Nathan's case, he's a professor's secretary. His job is to handle miscellaneous tasks for the professor he's assigned to. He doesn't do any research or professor-like work, so unfortunately, he won't be winning any Nobel Prizes. Huh? But being a secretary means the professor favors him, right? He must have been hired because he's brilliant. It's like preparation for eventually becoming a professor, right? Not at all. He's really just an ordinary secretary. His job involves checking emails, managing schedules, and making coffee. It's no different from any other regular secretary job. They even hire for these positions without considering educational background. Is that so? I thought university professors easily made around $100,000 a year. As a regular secretary, or rather administrative staff, he takes home about $20,000. The benefits are great, but the job is simple. There's no promotion, and that's about it. What? That's totally different from the income I was expecting. From your reaction, I guess you don't know how Nathan became a professor's secretary either. Huh? Did he just start this job recently? He started last year. Nathan was having trouble with interpersonal relationships at his previous job. Even after he finally managed to quit, he struggled to find a new job. That's when I introduced him to this professor's secretary position. I have a friend who's an assistant professor at Harvard, and she said they were looking for a secretary at her university, so I introduced Nathan. Oh, by the way, is this friend a woman? Yes, she's a woman, but she has a boyfriend she's very close with, so it's pointless to try to switch to her. Also, the professor's secretary position is renewed annually with a maximum term of 3 years. It's not a stable job, so you should think carefully about that. No way! You said he started last year, right? So after next year's renewal, he'll be unemployed? What's going on? Apparently they change people in short cycles for confidentiality reasons. That's terrible! I'm carrying Nathan's child, and I'm due to give birth in a few months, but his income is low, and he's guaranteed to be unemployed next year? What should I do? Well, that's not my problem. Isn't this the man you wanted to marry so badly that you stole him from me? That's because I thought he was a university professor. I never would have thought he was just an ordinary guy. Well, it's your fault for making convenient assumptions. Well then, I hope you and Nathan will be very happy together. No way! I want to call off this marriage with him right now! There are only disadvantages to this marriage! Sarah, you can't just decide to call off the marriage because you found out that Nathan isn't as prestigious or wealthy as you thought he was. You're pregnant with his child. But this isn't what I signed up for! I thought I was getting a Harvard professor, not a secretary! You didn't sign up for anything. You chose to have an affair with my fiancé and got pregnant. These are the consequences of your actions. But it's not fair. I was misled. No, you weren't misled. You made assumptions and didn't bother to verify them. That's on you. Can't you help me get out of this situation, sis? You know people at Harvard, right? Can't you get Nathan a better job? Are you serious right now? You steal my fiancé, ruin my relationship, and now you want me to help you out? That is beyond audacious, Sarah. But you're my sister. You're supposed to help me. I'm also the person whose heart you broke, the person whose trust you betrayed. You can't expect me to just forget that and help you now. What am I supposed to do then? I can't marry a man with such a low income. Maybe you should have thought about that before you got involved with him. Or better yet, before you decided that a person's worth is determined by their job title or income. That's easy for you to say. You have a good job. You don't have to worry about these things. I have a good job because I worked hard for it. I didn't try to marry my way into success. That's not fair. You know I've always wanted to marry and live a successful life. And look where that got you. Pregnant, unmarried, and panicking because the man who you thought was your meal ticket turns out to be an ordinary guy. Don't be so harsh, Emily. I'm in a difficult situation here. A situation you entirely made by yourself. You chose to pursue Nathan. You chose to have an affair with him. You chose to get pregnant. These were all your choices, Sarah. I know, but what do I do now? That's for you to figure out. You're an adult, Sarah. It's time you started acting like one. But I don't know how to handle this. I'm not prepared to be a single mother. Then maybe you should talk to Nathan about this. He's the father of your child, after all. But he's just a secretary. How can he support a family? Plenty of people with similar jobs support families, Sarah. It might not be the luxurious lifestyle you imagined, but it's possible. I can't live like that, Emily. I just can't. Then you have some serious thinking to do about your future and the future of your child. What should I do? I was too late. Nathan went ahead and submitted our marriage registration without my consent. What did you say? I was going to contact Nathan to call off the marriage, but he told me he had just submitted the marriage registration. He said he thought the sooner the better because of the baby. Oh, so you want to get divorced right away? I don't care if I become a divorcee. I want a divorce. You can divorce if you want, but can you raise a child alone? Of course, that's impossible. I'm just a part-timer. I've been living with my parents, prioritizing finding my future husband. I see. I didn't know that because I haven't been back home in years. If I get divorced, I can get child support from him, right? If I can maintain my current lifestyle with that, maybe I'll be okay. I wouldn't count on that. With his income, child support would be meager. Plus, if he becomes unemployed, you might not get any payments at all. And do you think our parents will be eager to help you with a child you had by stealing your sister's fiancé? In that case, you have to take responsibility, sis. Emily, you should pay me $1,000 a month for child support instead. Excuse me? If you had told me everything from the beginning, I wouldn't have stolen him. It's your fault for making me misunderstand. You made me and my unborn child unhappy, so take responsibility for it. Don't be ridiculous. You should take responsibility for what you did to me first. My wedding was ruined because of you. If you keep saying such absurd things, I'll sue you for damages. What? But if you promise never to involve me again, I'll forgive you. The baby is innocent after all. Use that money to raise the child. But... By the way, I've already told our parents about everything. What? They were both stunned and then immediately furious. They said they won't acknowledge your marriage or the child. They're going to kick you out of the house right away. Really? If I'm kicked out of the house, I'll have nowhere to go. I guess I have no choice but to continue this married life with Nathan. That's right. Well, goodbye then. Wait, Emily! You can't just leave me like this. There has to be something you can do. Sarah, I've already told you this is your mess to clean up. I'm not getting involved anymore. But I'm your sister. How can you abandon me when I'm in such a difficult situation? You didn't seem to care about our sisterly bond when you were having an affair with my fiancé. Why should I care about it now? That's different. I made a mistake and I admit it, but please, I need your help. And what exactly do you want me to do? Pay your bills, raise your child, fix your marriage? I don't know. Something. Anything. You've always been the smart one, the responsible one. You must know what to do. What I know is that actions have consequences, Sarah. You made a series of poor choices, and now you're facing the results of those choices. But it's not fair. I didn't know Nathan wasn't a professor. I didn't know he didn't make much money. If I had known... If you had known what? You wouldn't have slept with him? You wouldn't have gotten pregnant? You should never have pursued him in the first place, Sarah. He was my fiancé. I know. I'm sorry about that. I really am. But what's done is done. Can't you forgive me and help me now? Forgiveness isn't something you can demand, Sarah. It's earned. And so far, all I've seen from you is selfishness and a refusal to take responsibility for your actions. That's not true. I am taking responsibility. That's why I want to divorce Nathan. How is that taking responsibility? You're trying to run away from the consequences of your actions. That's the opposite of responsibility. But I can't be married to him. He's not who I thought he was. And whose fault is that? You pursued him based on assumptions you made about his job and income. You never bothered to get to know him as a person. I know that now, but it's too late to change what happened. I need to figure out what to do next. Yes, you do, and that's something you need to do all on your own. But I don't know how. I've never had to deal with something like this before. Welcome to adulthood, Sarah. Sometimes we have to deal with difficult situations we've never faced before. Can't you at least give me some advice? You've always been good at solving problems. Fine, here's my advice. Talk to Nathan. Be honest with him about your feelings and concerns. Discuss your options together. After all, he's the father of your child and your husband now. But what if he gets angry? What if he leaves me? Then that's something you'll have to deal with. But remember, Nathan chose to marry you knowing you were pregnant. He seems to want to take responsibility. I guess you're right, but I'm scared, Emily. I don't know if I can do this. You don't have much of a choice now, do you? You're going to be a mother soon. It's time to start thinking about someone other than yourself. I know, it's just everything's happening so fast. 1 minute I thought I was marrying a Harvard professor, and now you're married to a hardworking man who's trying to do right for you and your child. Maybe if you stopped focusing on what Nathan isn't, you might see what he is. What do you mean? Nathan may not be a professor or rich, but he's dependable. He's taking responsibility for his actions. That's more than can be said for a lot of men in his situation. I hadn't thought about it that way. Of course you hadn't. You've been too busy feeling sorry for yourself. That's not fair, Emily. Isn't it? From where I'm standing, you've done nothing but complain about how this situation affects you. Have you even thought about how Nathan feels, or how your child will feel growing up in a home where their mother resents their father? I don't resent Nathan. I'm disappointed. Disappointed in what? That he's not wealthy, that he's not as prestigious as you thought? Are those really the most important qualities in a husband and father? I don't know. I always thought they were, but now I'm not so sure. Maybe it's time you reevaluate your priorities, Sarah. For your sake, for Nathan's sake, and especially for your child's sake. You're right. I need to think about this. But, Emily, what about you? Can you ever forgive me for what I did? I don't know, Sarah. What you did, it hurt me deeply. It's not something I can just forget or get over quickly. I understand. I really am sorry, you know. I never meant to hurt you. But you did hurt me. You betrayed me in one of the worst ways possible. And the fact that you did it for such a shallow reason makes it even worse. I know. I was stupid and selfish. I see that now. Seeing it is one thing, Sarah. Learning from it and changing your behavior is another. You have a lot of growing up to do. I want to change, Emily. I really do. I want to be a good mother to my child, and I want to try to be a good wife to Nathan. That's a start, but remember, wanting to change and actually changing are two different things. It's going to take a lot of work and effort on your part. I'm willing to try, but I'm scared, Emily. What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? Then you pick yourself up and try again. That's what adults do, Sarah. We face our challenges head on even when we're scared. Will you help me? I know I don't deserve it after what I did, but I could really use my big sister right now. I can't make any promises, Sarah. You've hurt me deeply, and it's going to take time for me to process that. But I'll think about it. In the meantime, focus on your marriage and preparing for your baby. Thank you, Emily. Even that means a lot to me. Well, don't thank me yet. You have a long road ahead of you, Sarah. It's not going to be easy. I know, but I'm going to try. For my baby, for Nathan, and for myself. Good. That's the first mature thing I've heard you say in this whole conversation. Emily, I really am sorry for everything. I know you are, Sarah, but like I said, it's going to take time. Now, I think you need to go home and talk to your husband. You're right, I will. And Emily, thank you for talking to me, even after everything I did. You're still my sister, Sarah, no matter how angry I am at you. Now, go on. You have a lot to think about and a lot to do.
Please, Emily, can't we get back together after all? I'll break up with Sarah right away.
What? What's going on? You're newlyweds, and she's carrying your child.
Yes, but I just can't continue this married life. I'm giving up after just one day. I can't live with such a violent woman anymore.
Huh? Violent woman? What do you mean?
Yesterday, Sarah came to my house. She said she was kicked out of her home and had nowhere to go. She demanded that I take responsibility and make her and the baby happy. She said we had no choice but to create a warm family together.
Well, it's good that she made up her mind, but how is that violent?
Her emotions are out of control. An hour later, she suddenly said she didn't want to get married after all. She wanted to break up. She accused me of marriage fraud, shouting, "How dare you deceive me!" She started throwing things around the house and causing a scene.
My, that does sound quite challenging.
Then 30 minutes later, she was crying and apologizing for her outburst. Just when I thought she had calmed down, she started raging again. The cycle kept repeating. I'm a wreck after just one night. I want to divorce this woman.
So that's why you want to get back together with me? I'm afraid I'll have to decline.
Then at least take Sarah back with you. If she has another outburst, my house won't survive.
That's not my problem. If she acts up again, why don't you just call the police?
It's absolutely impossible. The dean lives on the top floor of my apartment building.
Oh, really?
I found out by chance the other day. If I call the police and our situation gets exposed, I might be fired immediately for causing trouble in my private life that required police intervention.
I don't think they'd mix personal and professional matters like that, but it might leave a bad impression.
Since my job is renewed annually, if it's not renewed because of this, I'll be unemployed next year. Thinking about that, I can't call the police. So please, Emily, can you do something about this?
No way, I'm not your fiancé anymore. I'm just a stranger now.
But
Sarah's outbursts will probably settle down eventually. She's pregnant, so her hormones might be unbalanced. If you support her properly, I'm sure she'll calm down. So do your best as her husband.
you can't be serious. You really won't help me?
Nathan, you made your choice when you decided to have an affair with my sister. You can't just come running back to me when things get tough.
I know I made a mistake, Emily. A huge mistake. But I didn't know Sarah would be like this. She seemed so different when we were, you know.
When you were having an affair behind my back? Yes, I'm sure she seemed different then. People often do when they're not dealing with the consequences of their actions.
I'm sorry, Emily. I really am. I never meant for any of this to happen.
But it did happen, Nathan. You chose to cheat on me with my sister. You chose to get her pregnant. You chose to marry her. These were all your decisions.
I know, and I regret them all. If I could take it back.
But you can't. That's the thing about choices, Nathan. Once you make them, you have to live with the consequences.
But what am I supposed to do now? Sarah's out of control. I can't live like this.
Have you tried talking to her? Really talking to her, not just reacting to her outbursts.
Talk to her? How can I talk to someone who goes from throwing things, to crying, to screaming, all in the span of an hour?
Sarah's emotional and is probably scared. She's pregnant, newly married, and her whole life has changed in a matter of weeks. That doesn't excuse her behavior, but it might explain it.
So what should I do?
Be patient, be kind, try to understand what she's going through. And most importantly, take responsibility for your part in this situation.
But it's so hard. I don't know if I can do it.
You have to, Nathan. You're going to be a father soon. It's time to step up and be the man your child needs you to be.
I don't know how to be a father. I'm not ready for this.
Nobody is ever really ready to be a parent, Nathan, but millions of people figure it out every day. You will too.
I wish I had never cheated on you, Emily. You're always so steady, so reliable.
Wishing won't change anything, Nathan. You made your choices, now you have to live with them.
Can't you give me another chance? We were good together, weren't we?
We were, but that's in the past now. You're married to my sister and about to have a child with her. That's your reality now.
But I don't love her. I thought I did, but now? Not so sure.
Love isn't just a feeling, Nathan. It's a choice, a commitment. You chose Sarah. Now you need to commit to making that choice work.
Even if she's violent? Even if she makes me miserable?
If Sarah is truly being violent, then that's a serious issue that needs to be addressed. But from what you've described, it sounds more like she's having emotional outbursts. That's not okay, but it's not the same as being violent.
So what should I do?
Talk to her, set boundaries, seek counseling if you need to, but don't just run away from your problems.
I don't know if I can do this, Emily. I'm not strong like you.
You're stronger than you think, Nathan. You just need to find that strength within yourself.
Will you help me? Please, Emily. I know I don't deserve it, but I need your help.
I can't help you the way you want me to, Nathan. I can't take you back or solve your problems for you. But I can give you some advice. Be patient, be kind, be understanding, and above all, be responsible.
That's it? That's all the help you'll give me?
That's all the help you need, Nathan. The rest is up to you.
I see. I understand. Thank you, Emily, for everything.
You're welcome, Nathan. Now go home to your wife. She needs you right now, whether you believe it or not.
You're right, but I will. And Emily, I really am sorry for everything.
I know you are, Nathan, but sorry doesn't fix what's broken. Actions do. Remember that.
I will. Goodbye, Emily.
Goodbye, Nathan. Take care of yourself, and take care of Sarah and your baby. Sarah continued her unreasonable outbursts until finally the neighbors called the police. Nathan explained the situation to the police, and they determined there was no criminal case, so they left quickly. However, the dean witnessed the entire scene. The next day, Nathan was immediately summoned, and the dean said, "Recently, the media has been keeping a close eye on university scandals. We can't afford to have staff members who might attract tabloid attention." And with that, Nathan was told his contract would end this year. As for my sister Sarah, she's still the same. One moment she wants a divorce, and the next she can't divorce because the child support wouldn't be enough. She demands to be made happy. Her emotional instability and outbursts continue. Finally, Nathan snapped too. Now they're known as the infamous brawling couple, and with the police being called to their home every day.